So recently, I completed a 90-day streak free of any pornography, and I want to share with you some of the benefits that I experienced. Remember that what I'm describing here, it won't be the exact same for you. I'm sharing here my direct experience, not exactly what you'll go through yourself. So keep that in mind and enjoy. The first benefit that I noticed after these 90 days is that you can start to do the things that you really want to in life. Because when you've moved out of your own way, you can start to live outside of your comfort zone and it doesn't hurt you. You can live at your edge and it's not as scary. You learn that the things that were holding you back in life were fear and emotional resistance, things that were amplified by your use of pornography. So after a significant period of time away from PMO, you find yourself quite naturally opening up and experiencing less emotional resistance. And really, this is the key, because the only thing in your entire life that is preventing you from doing the things that you actually want to do is your own self. In particular, it's the resistance which comes from within your own self that is put up to protect you from pain. And so what you're doing over these 90 days is you are outsmarting this resistance by living a lifestyle that decreases it, such that it becomes more manageable and such that you can live your life exactly how you want to, not being burdened by your emotions. After 90 days with lower emotional resistance, your world opens up and everything just becomes easier. For example, when you want to do something that you know would be good for you, it can be done so much more easily because there is not as much of an internal fight as there once was. Again, your emotional resistance is not blocking you. And so doing the things that make you the best version of yourself can be carried out with greater ease. For me, the beauty of this is that the difficult things which you know are rewarding and which you know grow you are not as challenging and are not as intimidating, and are subsequently done a whole lot more, leading you to transform yourself into the kind of person that you want to be. Some examples of things that maybe you wish you did more often, which now you might find yourself being more capable of, include trying cool new things, meeting cool new people, approaching more girls, being more authentic, being more yourself, being more loving to people, and living a lifestyle that pushes you and brings the very best out of you. All of these things, they now become options. But not just options, they become easier options. Because the emotional resistance which once prevented you from going near them has been lifted, freeing you up to do what you gotta do. The next benefit, and this is my personal favorite, is you develop thicker skin. Meaning you don't get upset or offended by the things other people say and do. You don't sweat the small stuff. You don't overthink little things. And you can brush things off more easily, and you can take on criticism and not be hurt by it. With thicker skin, you're more psychologically strong. You're more willing to change yourself as a person and become more capable of handling things, taking full responsibility, and rising to each situation. With thicker skin, you feel physically and mentally less fragile. You're less hypersensitive and you have a greater backbone, which means that you're not blown over by a gentle gust of wind. No, you can stand your ground, you can back yourself, and you can hold your own. Fundamentally, because between you and your lower mind, your lower self, it is you that comes out on top. In life, we think that the enemy is out there somewhere, like it's someone that you need to face. It's not. The truth is that it's your own mind. Your own mind is that which you need to conquer through applying wisdom and rigorous self-discipline and high awareness so that you can start to be the master of your own self. With thicker skin, you realize that what you have wanted for a long time is just to not be affected by things as much. And when this starts happening to you, it's a breath of fresh air, because the stuff that used to bother you, it's really just not a big deal anymore. You are not affected by it as much, and this makes you feel so much more stress-free. Because when you're mentally affected by something, you're going to work yourself up and you're going to cause yourself needless suffering. Whereas the more enjoyable, more wise, and more high consciousness thing is to live a lifestyle that supports you in being more mentally tough and more emotionally stable. It's keeping yourself spiritually clean and mentally and emotionally sharp. This way, when you experience those negative emotions and thoughts and feelings, you're not at the mercy of them. You can watch them without them hurting you. Developing this thicker skin is the biggest favor that you can do for yourself because you end up saving yourself so much more time than you can even imagine with just not overthinking and by not overanalyzing every little thing that tickles your ego. When these kind of things happen, it is a total waste of your mental energy to actually care about them. So what you've got to do is strengthen your mind and learn to move on nice and quickly. Benefit number 3, instead of being anxious all the time, you can start to be a lot more present in the moment. Because if you're able to live outside of your comfort zone more often, you will find yourself always doing the things that actually make you anxious. And this will prove to your mind and to your anxiety time and time again that there is no danger and that you are safe. Fear is only generated by your mind in order to keep you protected. But after these 90 days, I find that that fearful part of you that was once unnaturally high, it settles and is reduced in a really healthy and satisfying way because inside you feel more emotionally stable. The truth is that your lower mind will always be there to some extent because it's part of your human condition. But when your higher self and present moment connection are so loud, so strong, and so prominent in your direct experience, you simply no longer entertain the fear of your own mind because you see that it's a total trap. It's just your mind trying to protect itself. So understand that quitting PMO will mean that every single day you spend more time here and less time in your mind. And that is the most incredible thing for your mental health. Number 4, the next benefit that you can experience is huge momentum in your life. This momentum comes from the consistency with which you carry out your good habits and positive lifestyle decisions. It is doing the things that your best self would do and carrying them out every single day. And the reason that quitting PMO is such a boost to this momentum is that denying yourself easy pleasure, it ends up always being the right decision. It is just always the right call. And so when you're making this right choice every single day, you can't help but make other good choices too. This will mean that doing those good habits and positive lifestyle decisions, they will become second nature for you. Because that self-discipline muscle that you're using is being worked and tested every single day, therefore making it easier to work on all the other areas in your life. You should know that in order to feel this momentum properly, you've got to be productive as much as you possibly can. And this means working out, meditating, journaling, and keeping busy, basically just doing all the work on yourself that keeps you performing at your peak. The cleaner that your lifestyle is and the more work that you put in on yourself is the more that you feed this momentum and propel yourself forward in life. Another great benefit with having such strong momentum is that whatever you are trying to achieve in life is made so much easier when backed by this positive energy and current. In fact, it's only when you crash and when you lose your momentum do you realize, oh my God, it was all in the momentum. How do I get it back? It was so good. And what you have to do in this situation is you have to burn through the resistance right at the beginning, even when you don't feel like it. Doing regular workouts, sticking to your routine, being self-disciplined, and maintaining your good habits. This is the hard part, which, by the way, most people lack the willpower to ever get through. Meaning most people will exist behind this wall of resistance for pretty much their entire lives. Whereas you, for example, are going to smash through that wall every single time inner resistance comes up. So don't think that you are like everyone else. Don't think that you are one of the herd. You are your own person on this path, capable of burning through your own internal resistance. I want you to also notice that this momentum can and will feel very tempting to pacify, especially after this 90-day mark. Because when you're experiencing all of this energy and momentum, you will want to soothe yourself slightly. Because it's quite hard work to bear such high amounts of life force. So what you've got to do is find healthy and relaxing ways to decompress, like watching a great film, going for a nice walk, reading a good book, spending time in nature, or drinking tea and meditating. Something that takes the edge off slightly, but doesn't affect your momentum. What you've got to be careful not to do is indulge in your lower mind or sexual cravings for PMO. This is a very sneaky trap of your mind because it feels like it would soothe you just like everything else that I've mentioned. But what it ends up doing is damaging you and diminishing your drive. It's a very frustrating thing to realize that you've just messed up your momentum because it seemed as though PMO wouldn't be harmful. it turns out that it is harmful and that it hurts you and your soul. Momentum can take weeks to re-establish, and until you get it going again, you can find yourself very easily in a rut. So be wise, be mindful, and whatever you do, don't give in to those sexual cravings for PMO. So, to wrap up my experience of 90 days with no PMO, you're going to feel a lot more relaxed about life. Because when you're not in a constant battle with yourself, life is more calm, more simple, and more enjoyable. 90 days of no PMO does not fix all the problems in your life, but it does allow you to be more at peace with yourself. And this is arguably all you really want. My final piece of advice is that when it comes your way, use your momentum. When you realize that you've gone a few days or a few weeks without using PMO, or ideally without even thinking about it, that is your time to put your head down and to focus. Focus on your life and work so hard and be so busy that there's not even time to make it an option in your mind. You want to effortlessly go weeks and months, ideally without even realizing that you're doing it. Especially once you've reached 90 days, you want to focus less on counting days and more on making it a permanent, long-term lifestyle. So continue on this path, do yourself proud, and trust in your higher self to guide you in your life. If you've enjoyed this video and you would like more, then brother, please do subscribe.